Another rant video traveling at the pace of a sloth, and in today's video we're going to be talking about something that I have not used in quite a long time, which I'm assuming a lot of people aren't using as well, and that is the farm. As I was playing the limited time mode currently, I don't know if it's still in this game when this video gets uploaded, but the hunt, I was essentially just going through my loadout, trying to put something in to basically use for solo, and that's when I remembered about the farm, and oh boy, Jesus Christ, dude. So essentially the farm, for those who don't know, which is pretty much all of you who know, is one of the few towers that doesn't deal any damage on defense, but actually helps you financial wise in the match. And firstly, what you do is just place it down, and the second a new wave starts, a little bit of cash at the start. And of course, the more you upgrade the farm, which does get expensive, the more cash you go up to. First it goes from 50 to 100, 250, 500, 750, and then finally the insane 1500. But that's just one farm. 8 farms max, which will accumulate to 12,000 at the start of every single new wave, which can really just push a lot of brand new strategies, and of course being able to afford a lot faster those much more expensive tower upgrades, like for an example the accelerator, the engineer, those types of upgrades. And quite honestly, back then, and when I mean back then, I probably think more than a year ago at this point, the farm was essentially in every single person's loadout because of just how well it played into everyone's loadouts, because I mean, like, getting a bunch of cash, much more cash than should be legally allowed at the start of every single wave, really just gives you a huge head start. But then things started to change. More specifically, a game mode actually got reworked, and that is Fallen, as you all know. And at first, Fallen wasn't really too bad. You can still use the farm, and the enemies didn't really come out too soon. But not only did Fallen got reworked, but pretty much every single game mode except Hardcore for now, including the infamous Molten mode. Now, Molten mode was by far the easiest game mode in the game, and pretty much was like the best farm tower, I guess, to use on the map, because man, it was just a breeze to use. But Molten also got reworked to where enemies appear a lot faster than legally should be allowed, but also the very strong and, well, boss-y enemies in this game. So with Molten and Fallen also not giving you too much time to actually prioritize the farm, you probably think that it's just those two modes that you gotta watch out for. Well, no, because all of the other game modes also got reworked, except Intermediate, because I think that one just stayed the same. Easy got reworked, then I believe there's a tutorial one, and also the 3 game modes, special game modes. And this is exactly the downfall of the farm, because the farm really requires actually time investment, and especially money investment, in order to actually pretty much get the best benefits later down the road. Since every single wave you are prioritizing your tower's defense, damage, and also range against stronger and stronger enemies, and since those same game modes actually got reworked to where they're a lot more difficult, like for an example Fallen and Molten, that kind of prioritizes, well, your defense over the farm, since it requires a lot of money, and of course the biggest one, an actual loadout slot in order to use it. But also you do get a decent amount of money at the start, or at least at the end of every single wave that you manage to complete. So not only does it feel like farms are just a lot more, I guess, complex to actually get the best use out of them, but also you just get a generous amount of money at the end of each wave, especially when you get to the later rounds of the game modes. And I actually played Fallen a lot, and once I got to like wave, I don't know, 25 or something like that, I didn't have to worry about money at all, really. Like, the money you get is pretty damn good at that point. So that kind of begs the question on why would you choose the farm if you're already gonna get pretty good money, to where when wave 30 comes around you just have more than enough to essentially afford any upgrade. It kind of just feels a bit repetitive to use the farm, and I know it's supposed to be a big head start and you're not supposed to use the farm all the time in solo mode, since if you're playing with a bunch of randoms, or I guess with friends, you can essentially have 1 or 2 people farm while the other 2 try their hardest to defend. And let's not forget, there's literally a tower that just milks the money in every single game mode, and that is the Cowboy, since this man is still my favorite starting tower, since of course damage wise, range wise, and especially the money you just get from this guy. This guy is quite honestly just literally the farm as a literal tower defense, I guess. You even have a tower that just gives you money as long as you just spam him or at least upgrade them. So it just kind of begs the question on why you would use the farm at this point. That doesn't mean that the farm is literally bad in every single game mode, because you still have pretty good success using him in like intermediate and easy mode, and maybe even molten mode, but anything past molten, you're pretty much just asking for everything to be so much more difficult than it needs to be. I'm not asking for, I don't know, Paradox to actually buff the farms or at least any changes to the farms. I'm just simply going over just how, I guess, unreliable farms are now getting, especially when you're playing solo or at least having only 1 or 2 other people. 4 people, I mean, it could be something you could still use, but a majority of the time it's best to just help out and, well, help out with defense, and you will still get a decent amount of cash. So quite honestly, the farm is just not really much of a popular choice to actually choose. Should they buff the farm? Should they rework it? I don't think so, and even if they were to for some reason, what would they even do? I really don't know. The farm is entirely a tower where you essentially just invest all of your money into it, and it will pay you back later on, pretty much when you have everything maxed out, or at least very close to maxed out to around level 4-ish. But at that point, you're already getting very good amount of money from both killing the enemies in that wave, but also ending the wave. You get a pretty good bonus too. So farm is just not really as a good and financial wise option to choose anymore.